Welcome to UFO Insider. I'm your host Karan, and in this episode, we will be looking at the Roswell incident of 1947. So let's begin with today's episode. In 1947, stories of flying discs and flying saucers circulated all around the national press. There were many kinds of UFO sightings which increased year by year. But in 1947, there was an incident which was really mysterious and phenomenal. Many people claims that they have seen alien bodies at the Roswell incident. So what was this Roswell incident? Well, 75 miles northwest of the town of Roswell, a ranch worker named William Brezel makes a shocking discovery. It was a phenomenal discovery because he discovered a flying disc which was crashed near the ranch house. He contacted the local sheriff, and he in turn contacted the commanding officer of Roswell Army Airfield. Well, in a few days, the Roswell Army Airfield made a shocking claim. They released a press in which they claimed that it was really a flying disc. Well, the locals at that time even say that they have seen alien bodies and a UFO which crashed near the ranch house. But what really was it? Because the government changed the statement later and said that it was some type of a balloon system which crashed. On 8th July 1947, the Roswell Daily newspaper released an article that graph captured a flying disc in the region of Roswell. As you can see on your screen, this was the exact article which they published in 1947. The statement was later changed from a flying disc to that of a balloon system. The official accounts claimed that the debris found by William Brezel was not a UFO or a flying disc, but rather a balloon system which was part of a technology trial named Project Mogul. So what really was it? Was it really some kind of a flying disc or just a balloon system which was part of a technology trial? The Roswell incident of 1947 is one of the most famous UFO incidents to ever happen. But still, we need to know about the witnesses. What witnesses told to us about the incident, what they experienced when this flying disc crashed. So let's take a look at what they said about the incident. As you can see on your screen, several people claim to have seen debris scattered all over the area, and at least one person reported seeing a blazing aircraft in the sky shortly before it crashed. But the key account came from a former mortician, Glenn Dennis, who claimed in 1989 that a friend who worked as a nurse at the Roswell Army Airfield had accidentally walked into an examination room where doctors were bent over the body of three creatures. They apparently resembled humans, but with small bodies, spindly arms, and giant bald heads. This was the experiences shared by the people and the witnesses of the Roswell incident. Well, whatever the case may be, if it really was a flying disc or not, UFO sightings have increased all around the globe drastically. Well, just look at the graph from UK and US UFO sightings. As you can see on your screen, the graph is just going up, and this is the same case all around the world. So the Roswell incident is clearly one of the most mysterious incidents of all time. Well, there are many more incidents, mysteries all around the globe which needs to be told to you guys. There are many more alien stories, abductions, and many more things which I will be covering in these videos. So do not forget to subscribe to my channel UFO Insider for more videos like this. So that is it for me in this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode of A Walk to the Tales. Peace. Welcome to UFO Insider. I'm your host Karan, and in this episode we will be looking at the mysterious truth about the men in black. So let's begin with today's episode. You might have seen Men in Black movies, but I'm here to tell you that these kind of people do exist in real life. There have been several cases all around the world which indicate that there is some kind of a secret organization which runs these Men in Black people. So who are these Men in Black people? Let's take a look. The Men in Black people are typically described as wearing black suits, being expressionless, cold, sinister, and in some cases inhuman. The Men in Black seem to only talk to two kinds of people: those who have seen a UFO or those who have researched UFOs. They often describe themselves as a part of a secret organization, sometimes even producing a white card with the word security on it. In some cases, they refer to each other by number rather than name. If we go deeper into the subject, we come to know that they are the people who try to threaten and scare people into remaining silent about their UFO encounters or research. You can think of them as the cleaners of the extraterrestrial universe. So if we conclude, we can be able to tell that the Men in Black might be responsible for maintaining the secrets about UFO and alien technology. There have been several and a large amount of UFO sightings all around the world, but we don't hear them anywhere. Even in media, there are really some small details about UFO sightings. What happened in Roswell? What about the Area 51? Nobody really knows that. Why? Because these are secrets which are maintained by some type of organization which helps the government. So it might be that these Men in Black people are responsible for maintaining these secrets. Well, we do find several cases all around the world which tells us more about this Men in Black people. So let's take a look at the several cases that we found about the Men in Black. So here are, in my opinion, the most terrifying reports of encounters with Men in Black. So the first ever recorded case of encounter with Men in Black comes from Harold Dahl in 1947. So in 1947, in the month of June, Harold Dahl was out on his boat in Puget Sound, where he claimed he saw 6 giant donut-shaped objects in the sky. One of the objects fell apart, spilling debris that killed his dog and injured his son. He took photos of the debris, but said they were later fogged over by a Man in Black, who told him not to speak of the incident. The next encounter comes from Robert Richardson in 1967 from Ohio, Toledo. Robert Richardson reported that he collided with a UFO while driving at night in Toledo, Ohio. On impact, the object vanished. Richardson took home a small lump of metal that he believed was from UFO. A week later, Richardson said he was visited by 2 men in black suits. He said the men asked for the piece of metal from the site, but when Richardson informed them that he had turned it over for the testing, they threatened him by saying the following lines: "If you want your wife to stay as pretty as she is, then you'd better get the metal back." Richardson never heard from the men again. They knew about the metal, but he has no idea about how they came to know about the metal. Even now, this encounter is one of the most mysterious cases of the evidence found about the men in black. The next encounter that we are going to see is the most interesting and the most mysterious encounter about the men in black in history, because this encounter not only describes about the men in black, but we even have a video footage about this incident. So let's take a look at the next encounter of men in black. On October 14, 2008, near Niagara Falls, hotel manager Shane Sower, along with hotel security guard, reported seeing a large triangular UFO outside his hotel. A group called the Aerial Phenomenon Investigation Team looked into the incident. They reported that a couple weeks later, according to 3 other witnesses, 2 unidentified men in black visited the hotel. The men in black terrified the hotel staff and were looking for Shane Sower and the hotel security guard who was with him. But they were lucky because they were not there at the time. And when Shane Sower reviewed the hotel security footage, he discovered that the camera had actually captured 2 men on tape. Now, what you are about to see is the 2 unidentified people in black suits. Sower reported that the witnesses described the men as tall with black suits, black hats, identical faces, extremely pale skin, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, and abnormally large eyes. A woman who spoke the men claimed that she felt that the man knew what she was thinking. Is this video proof that MIB exists? Now it is up to you to decide. So this was the mystery about the men in black in real life. If you want to watch more videos like this and you're interested in mysterious videos, UFO sightings, alien stories, abductions, then do not forget to subscribe to this channel, because we will be covering everything on this channel, UFO Insider. So that is it for me in this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. In 1980s, many people have seen UFOs hovering in the Hudson River Valley in New York. More than 5,000 people have reported seeing a UFO in more than 5 cities, including Brewster, Millwood, Stormville, and Yorktown. So in today's episode, we will be looking at the UFO sightings which took place at the Hudson River Valley in New York. It all started on 17 March 1983. Let's take a look at the UFO sightings which took place in these areas. In 1980s, many people have seen unidentified flying objects over the cities in the Hudson River Valley of New York. On the night of March 17, 1983, Deputy Dennis Sant saw a large dark gray metallic object over his home next to Interstate 84 near Brewster, New York. He described it as a city of lights. He and his son followed the object until they reached the backyard. A few miles away, traffic along Interstate 84 was brought to a stop when motorists got out of their cars to look at the large unknown flying object. A week later, on March 24, Officer Andy Sandhoff was working a routine patrol when she saw a series of lights in the sky. At first, she assumed that it was a plane. However, she got a better look at the object. She realized that it was too large to be a plane. It had several white, green, and red lights on it. The object seemed to stop above her car. She noted that no sounds came from the object. She decided to follow the object until it disappeared over the hills. That same night, computer engineer Ed Burns was on the Taconic Parkway near Millwood when he began experiencing static on his radio. Seconds later, he looked up and saw a large object about the size of a football field. He also noted that there was no noise emitting from the object. He pulled off the side of the road and watched it along with other motorists. The eyewitness report suggests that the object was slowly moving north over the Hudson River Valley. The local police in Yorktown received countless calls from the people reporting the shape. Two officers who saw it together gave different descriptions at the same time. Officer Kevin Soravilla described it as a large shape with several lights, but his partner William Wolfe described it as a series of small planes flying in tight formation. Some began to suspect that the UFO sightings were a hoax, believing that the large object was actually several small planes flying together. However, sightings continued to pour in throughout the area in the following months. For some background, the Hudson River Valley was named for 17th century English explorer Henry Hudson, who first explored the region in 1609. It is located 40 miles north of Manhattan. Most of its residents are upscale professionals and retirees. Thank you for watching this episode of A Walk to the Tales. I'll see you guys in the next episode. And yeah, till then, goodbye. Peace. Welcome to UFO Insider. I'm your host Karan, and in today's episode we will be looking at the UFO sightings which took place in the city of Mexico. In 1991, there have been several objects which were seen in the sky, and this UFO sighting is one of the most popular and famous around the world. So let's take a look at the story of the UFO incident of New Mexico. On July 11, 1991, many citizens of the Mexico City looked to the sky to see the last total solar eclipse of the 20th century. That afternoon, the city plunged into the darkness. While many watched the eclipse, they noticed a UFO flying in the sky. Guillermo Aragon, a reporter, and Jaime Maussan, a journalist, were videotaping the eclipse when they saw the metallic object. They were shocked at the strange object in the sky. Jaime produces, directs, and hosts the Mexico's version of 60 Minutes. So a week later, after the eclipse, he showed Aragon the footage on the show. Thousands of people called to say that they had seen a similar object that the same day. Several viewers also sent in videotapes of the same UFO. A 19-year-old student, Eric Aguilar, and several of his friends also claimed to have seen the object while on a rooftop. Eric was setting up a video camera to film the eclipse when he spotted the object in the sky. While looking at the sky, they only saw a white dot at first, but when looked closely, they saw the dot was shining brightly. At the same time, about 60 miles away, a businessman named Luis Lara videotaped an object almost identical to the one that Eric taped. He could see a shadow beneath the object, confirming to him that it was not a star. The Breton family also filmed a similar object in Puebla, 80 miles from the Mexico City. There was an odd wave-like disturbance behind the pulsating disc, possibly an energy trail. Despite being 100 miles apart, the objects were very similar. 2 months later, another sighting of UFOs in Mexico occurred during a military air show. Sanchez was filming several planes in formation when he noticed a shiny dot moving slowly across the sky. The object was bright and round, about 10 meters in diameter. It appeared to be made of silver and was reflecting the sunlight. A year later, there were similar UFO sightings at the same air show. This time, the disk descended rapidly and vanished mysteriously. By the time 1993 air show occurred, many were anticipating a UFO sighting. Just as a squadron of helicopters flew by, the metallic disk appeared once again. Since it was traveling against the wind, it seemed unlikely that it was a balloon. Further inspection of the video suggests that it was in close proximity of the helicopters. There have been thousands of sightings of UFOs in Mexico since July of 1991. By teachers, by doctors, bus drivers, and even school children. Most of the sightings have occurred around Mexico City. To this day, nobody can explain the rash of UFO sightings in Mexico. The military has not made any comment on the UFO sightings which took place in the city of Mexico. Welcome to UFO Insider. I'm your host Karan, and in today's episode of A Walk to the Tales, we will be talking about the Belgium wave of 1990 and 1989. So let's begin with today's episode. There are many UFO sightings which take place all around the world, every year, every month, every day. But today we are talking about one of the most famous UFO sightings to ever take place in history. So what was this UFO sighting? Well, we are talking about the Belgium wave of 1989 to 1991. It all started in November 29 when people from Belgium saw triangular shaped objects in the sky with 3 large lights. Well, it is really interesting to find out more details about this UFO incident because there are over 13,500 witnesses of this UFO incident. So let's take a look at this UFO incident. In 1989, several ordinary people have reported that Belgium is being invaded from the skies by UFOs. On July 11, 1991, high-ranking members of the Belgian military briefed the media on a UFO that fighters had tried to chase down and were tracked on their radar screens. Despite the fact that most UFO stories seem to be denied or covered up by the government, many military officials and police officers claim to have seen strange objects in the sky. The mystery of the Belgium UFOs began on November 29, 1989, just outside a small town of Eupen, near the German border. 2 federal police officers named Nicole and Montage were on a routine patrol when they saw a field near the road that was lit up like a football field. When they pulled over to the side of the road, they saw a huge triangular platform and large headlights with an orange pulsating light. They called the dispatcher, Albert, but he did not believe them at first. Albert noted the unusual object in his log, but remained skeptical. Nicole and Montage followed the object along the road towards the Eupen. They could see it clearly because the lights were very strong. They drove slowly because it appeared that someone was in the object watching them. Moments later, a strange light flashed across Albert's office in Eupen. He saw the object in the distance but did not know what it was. The two officers continued to follow the object into Eupen. The object then stopped and began to measure something on the ground. The two men watched the object for over 30 minutes. Then out of nowhere, another spacecraft appeared and began rising into the sky. The other object was shaped the same as the other one. It soon flew away. A few moments later, Albert saw the object again, this time much closer. At that point, he believed the two men. 6 minutes later, two other gendarmes or police officers encountered a similar object in a city a few miles north of Eupen. When the men saw the object, they were frightened. They thought it was an American aircraft. A few minutes later, they watched as the craft transformed into a single beam of light and disappeared. All four sightings occurred within less than 20 miles and 1 hour of each other. 11 other gendarmes or police officers and over 100 private citizens came forward that same day describing the same object. Over the next few months, 100 more witnesses came forward describing a similar triangular object. In April of 1990, a man came forward with a photograph that he claimed was the object that many had seen in Belgium in the past few months. The photograph showed an object with a triangular shape and 3 lights, and many believe that it is proof that Belgium is being invaded from the sky. So if we move to the conclusion, the Belgium wave is still one of the most interesting UFO sightings to ever take place. Well, this has over 13,000 witnesses, but still nobody really knows what exactly happened during the incident. Well, if you want to find out more UFO incidents like this, the Belgium wave, do subscribe to my channel UFO Insider, where we will be covering every UFO sighting possible and also many more alien stories and abductions. The Belgium wave was one of the most interesting topics that I've covered today, and I hope you liked my video. Do subscribe and turn the notification bell on if you like my content. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you guys in the next episode of A Walk to the Tales. Till then, goodbye. Peace. Since November of 1987, the city of Gulf Breeze, Florida has been reported of having dozens of UFO sightings. Over 100 people have witnessed more than 80 sightings of unidentified objects in the skies over Gulf Breeze. The sightings begin on the night of November 11 when Gulf Breeze resident Ed Walters noticed a strange object in the sky outside of his home. When he went outside to take a better look, he noticed a large glowing object hovering a few hundred feet away. The object made no sound. With his Polaroid camera, he took 5 photographs. When the photographs became public, other residents began reporting seeing a similar object in the sky. 5 days after his sighting, Ed brought the photos to the attention of Duane Cook, who was the editor for the Gulf Breeze Sentinel. Duane was uncertain about publishing the photos as he felt that the story was not well suited for the newspaper. However, when his parents came to visit, he showed them the photos. They were shocked as they had seen the same object a few days earlier. After the photographs were published on November 19, Reports of UFOs increased throughout the town. During a 6-month period, 135 people reported 80 different sightings. Let's take a look at some of the reports. The first witness is pathologist Fenner McConnell, who described the object as medium large and about the size of an airplane. The second witness was Doris Somerby, who claimed to have seen a porthole on the object with light coming from it. The third witness claimed that it made no sound and was moving at about 5 miles per hour. The witness was Scott Zebb. Brenda Pollock described seeing a bright yellow or orange light in the distance. The fourth witness was Jeffrey Thompson, who claimed that the object flew straight into the air and then stayed still at an angle for about a minute. From November to May, Ed took 37 clear high-quality photographs of the UFOs. Due to the quality, many people become skeptical. However, Ed claimed that the photographs and his sightings were genuine, along with other witnesses. On December 3, the Sentinel received 2 anonymous photographs of the object. On December 23, the paper received more photographs. This time, the photos showed more than one object. The day after those photographs were allegedly taken, Ed also took photographs of multiple objects. On December 28, he captured the objects on a videotape. In another photograph, taken on December 2, he captured an object with a beam of light coming from it and hitting the ground. The light was also observed by 5 other witnesses. Ed's closest encounter occurred on January 12, 1988. He was driving along a deserted road about 5 miles from home when he encountered a bright light. The light was so bright that he drove off the road to avoid it. He took another photograph of the object, which was in front of his truck and close to the road. The final reported sighting of Gulf Breeze took place in July of 1988. However, many wonder why the UFOs are coming to the area in the first place. Some speculate that it has something to do with the nearby military airbase. There are many kinds of UFO sightings which take place all around the world. Many mysteries which needs to be unraveled. Alien encounters, many mysterious stories, the lost UFO files. But the worst of them all, the most terrible, are the alien abduction cases all around the world. So join me in my today's episode of A Walk to the Tales, where we will be talking about someone who claims to be abducted by aliens. Let's take a look. Betty and Barney Hill were a married couple living in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. On the night of September 19th, 1961, the Hills were driving home from a vacation in Canada. While on US Route 3, traveling through the White Mountains of New Hampshire, they began to see strange lights in the sky. They appeared as shooting stars moving upwards instead of downwards. Betty claims she saw a cluster of multicolored lights pass over the face of the moon. They began to drive slowly down a mountainous pass called the Franconia Notch, and the lights keep moving with them. They are darting around in the sky, following the bends, hovering over the hills. Barney to stop the car and get out for a look. He grabs his gun and his binoculars and sets on getting a good look at the object. He describes a craft that appears to him as a pancake in the sky that is many of dozens feet in length. Through the binoculars, he can see that the craft features windows, and in the windows, he identifies nearly a dozen humanoid creatures that he knows cannot be human. The craft moves until it is directly above them and their car, at which point Barney Hill jumps in and tries to drive away to escape the craft out of fear. Then the couple claims to have blacked out and do not remember driving for over 30 miles before they came to farther down the mountain road. Over 2 years after the incident, the Hills claim that they are still battling with anxiety, trauma, and memory loss surrounding the incident in the mountains. Speaking with some people from the church, they are put in touch with Benjamin Simon, a renowned hypnotist from Boston. In December of 1963, they see Simon and set up a series of hypnosis sessions in order to try and unlock the suppressed memories and lost time from the encounter in 1961. This is where the things started to get weird. Under the hypnosis, the two recount similar stories, the same story they had been telling up until that point, except now there were many more vivid details that they started to spout under hypnosis. They claimed that they were taken aboard the craft, separated and examined. Betty claims the leader spoke to her in English, asked her questions, showed her a map, some books, and more. Barney claims he was poked, prodded, scraped, and thoroughly examined in his room. He says he was placed on a metal table that was too short for his body. The hypnosis revealed a lot of emotional distress and trauma associated with the incident, and the details began to get more and more outlandish than their initial reports 2 years earlier. By the end of it all, the initial report of strange sighting of a craft in the sky around the White Mountains of New Hampshire had evolved into a tale of terror and hysteria. The final tale comes out something like this. Now, in 1963, the details get fleshed out. The two were taken aboard the saucer by small gray men. They are separated and examined. Betty shown kindness and spoken to at length by alien leader. He shows her a specific map of stars from the point of view of their home planet. He even jokes with her. He wants to give her a book to take back home, but the captain is voted down by his crew. They are eventually deposited back to the cars, where they are told they won't remember any of this. Simon even gets Betty to draw the map of stars with lines going between them. This story was the first of its kind, and it forged a new kind of tale that would live alongside the growing obsession with UFOs, the alien abduction. Whatever happened that night in 1961, whether it was a bout of collective psychosis, a combination of sleep deprivation, and a particularly bright night, or an actual encounter with extraterrestrials, it changes the American culture landscape forever. It even changes the tales, and this is where the first alien abduction, the most famous abduction of all time, begins.